Everybody's talking about Lehi as the heart of Utah's Silicon Slopes and as one of the fastest growing cities in Utah. But is it the right fit for you? On today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 pros and 5 cons of living in Lehi, Utah, so you can make the best decision for you. Now stick around to the end because I've got a bonus pro that might surprise you. Hey, I'm Scott Walters, your Utah YouTubing realtor with Best USA Realty. All right, so pro number 1, Lehi is the epicenter of Utah's Silicon Slopes. It's home to major companies like Adobe, Microsoft, Ancestry. There's a bunch of multi-level marketing companies have their headquarters in the Lehi area. And so, I mean, if you're living in Lehi, it's just a beautiful place to be for opportunities for tech jobs. There's also great job opportunities when it comes to the healthcare sector. They've got a primary children's hospital in Lehi. It's a brand new hospital, and there's other hospitals throughout Utah County. And just simply the location of Lehi to the jobs up in the Salt Lake market just makes Lehi a beautiful location for all kinds of jobs. Lehi is in the Alpine School District, so there's great job opportunities with the high schools and the junior highs and the elementary schools in the area, but there's also opportunities for higher education with close proximity to Utah Valley University in Orem, as well as Brigham Young University in Provo, or even on up to Salt Lake for the University of Utah. So I would say the job market and the opportunities for jobs in Lehi makes that the pro number 1. Pro number 2 has to be the central location for Lehi. It just makes commuting fantastic. Of course, you got Silicon Slopes, so if you work in the tech sector at one of those jobs, I mean, it's within your city boundaries, but where it's located basically at a halfway point between Salt Lake City and Provo. So you're really close going up over the mountain, the point of the mountain up into the Salt Lake Valley. And I would estimate you're probably 35 minutes or so to downtown Salt Lake City, maybe 40. Of course, on a heavy traffic day, it could be a little longer. And again, you're also 35 to 40 minutes down to Provo and downtown Provo. So the location is fantastic. You're right in the heart of the major urban centers of Utah between Provo and Salt Lake. You've got great access to Interstate 15, which is the main interstate that runs through north and south through Utah. Well, it's went through Utah County and Salt Lake County. So you've got several freeway on-ramps for Interstate 15. You've got good access for the Front Runner station. That is the train that runs between Ogden and Provo. You can hop on to any of the UTA buses here in Lehi. So it's got great access in the central location here in Utah County. Okay, so another pro has to be the outdoor lifestyle. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why people even come to Utah is they love the outdoor lifestyle. Lehi is on the north border of Utah Lake, so if you want to go out on the lake, go fishing, or if you want to go wakeboarding, you're just really close to that. Of course, you're really close to the mountains. You've got American Fork Canyon that's really close by. That jumps onto the Alpine Loop Road, which is one of the most beautiful drives in Utah. That'll lead you on over to Sundance, a great ski resort that's got, of course, great winter skiing, but also fantastic summer programs with their outdoor plays and their mountain biking. And of course, you're not that far away to Provo Canyon with this beautiful scenery, and Bridalveil Falls up that canyon. Of course, up that canyon you would get to Deer Creek, and a little bit further on up there you would also get into Jordanelle or Strawberry. So you've got great reservoirs that are really close by for trout fishing as well as recreating on a lake. You've got hiking, biking, camping, all within minutes of Lehi. And then again, if you're really into skiing, you're just 40 minutes away or so to the Salt Lake City canyons, a Big Cottonwood Canyon and Little Cottonwood Canyon, where you've got 4 fantastic ski resorts in Bright, Solitude, Alta. So anyway, just some great skiing there. I would say from Lehi, you're probably about 50 minutes away or so to Park City and the great skiing that you have there. So my next pro, I kind of talked about it or alluded to it a little bit already, but there's great educational opportunities here in Lehi. You have 2 great high schools in Sky Ridge High School and Lehi High School. They have fantastic programs, good test scores for the students, for ACT, good graduation rates. So you got the great school, well, and they're part of the Alpine School District, so it's a highly rated school district here in Utah. So you've got that, as well as you've got the higher education nearby here in Lehi with Utah Valley University in Orem and Brigham Young University down in Provo. You've got some community colleges up in Salt Lake County, or even the University of Utah up in Salt Lake. So, I mean, you just got some great educational opportunities available in the Lehi area. All right, so Lehi has become a shopping and dining hotspot. You've got the Traverse Mountain area. That's kind of at the point of the mountain of Lehi, right before you go into Salt Lake County. You've got all kinds of shopping up there. Of course, you've got Cabela's, the great outdoor retailer right there. There's an outlet mall right there with all the different stores that outlet malls have. You've got restaurants, all kinds of shops, grocery stores in that area. So Lehi is, I mean, you got to keep in mind, when I was a kid, Lehi was like less than 10,000 people. It felt like it was a little farming town, but boy, in the last couple decades, it has grown. I think last I looked, there's something like 87,000 people that live in Lehi. So that's brought a whole lot of new construction to the area, as well as a lot of new retail construction with the new stores and shops and dining. So that's my pro number 5, is it has become a great place for shopping. Okay, con number 1, it's going to be traffic congestion. I mean, with all that growth that's been experienced, not only here in Lehi, with it going from 10,000 30 years ago to 80 something thousand now. You've got Eagle Mountain and Saratoga Springs. At 25 years ago, there was like 2,000 people lived out there. Now there's like 80 or 90,000 people or something to live out there, and that's all in this northern Utah County area. That has just brought a lot of traffic to the area, so that's brought a lot of congestion. In fact, it took me a couple lights just to turn left to be able to just come to this park and get to a place that was kind of quiet and out of the way. And now Interstate 15 here in Lehi going up in Salt Lake Valley, that's also very busy, particularly at your rush hour traffic times. It's very busy. You can expect delays in those areas. The roads that are going out east or going out west towards Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain, like Pioneer Crossing, or even Lehi Main Street, or even the new main road up north. I can't remember, 2100, I can't remember exactly. Those can get super crowded, super busy to be on. So just know that you're going to deal with some traffic congestion in the Lehi area because of all the people that have moved to the area. Con number 2 is cost of living, particularly when it comes to housing. Because it is so centrally located to Salt Lake and to Provo, the home prices have really shot up. In fact, you'll pay quite a bit less just even going out a few miles to the west, out to Eagle Mountain, or even if you want to go south down towards Santaquin, you'll find similar sized homes that can be 20 to 40,000 less than what you'll pay for them here in Lehi. So that's just one of the cons and the drawbacks. Because of that good location, because of the increased population and the competition and the demand, the home prices have shot up in the Lehi area. Okay, perhaps to go along with that, that gives me my con number 3, and that is a lot of construction everywhere going on. There's just a lot of new construction. So just knowing those new neighborhoods, you're going to be dealing with new construction probably for the next 10 plus years. You'll have a lot of that banging and clanking of hammers and saws and things like that, as well as construction when it comes to improving the infrastructure with roads and the like. So just know you're going to be dealing with that here in Lehi for a while. It's just the added pressure and inconvenience of being in a construction zone, at least for the newer parts of town. All right, let's talk about another con to Lehi, and that is we can have some winters here in Lehi. I mean, we live in Utah. We're up in the, we got the Wasatch Front Range here, and so we can have some harsh winters. Just expect that you can have a couple feet of snow in the wintertime. This winter, I mean, I'm out here on a January afternoon. It's brisk, it's bright and clear, but there's no snow on the ground at all. But that could change next week. We could get a snowstorm that could bring in a foot or two of snow. So here's my tips for you. Have a strong back, a good shovel, but even better yet, have a snow blower or a snow plow blade on your four-wheeler. I prefer the latter. That is my favorite. That's the easiest way to deal with the snow, is just to have a good snow plow blade on your four-wheeler. But just know that there'll be sometimes in the winter you're going to wish that you had all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, but that's really not that many days. One of the nice things about Utah is that it does warm up in the daytime enough to generally melt the snow off the roads and clear them up a little bit. But there's some newer parts of Lehi up in the foothills where you're going to have snow a little bit longer just because the elevation is a little higher. But that's one thing you'll deal with if you live here in Lehi, is you'll have some wintertime weather to deal with. All right, let's talk about one final con, and that con would be poor air quality, both in the winter and in the summer. Now, that's not all the time, but sometimes. Let's talk about the air quality in the winter. In the wintertime, you're going to be dealing with inversions. So that's where we get a high pressure that basically traps all the pollution as well as the fog down in the valleys. So you can go weeks at a time without even being able to see the beautiful mountains. Like you can kind of see Mount Timpanogos behind me. There will be weeks where you will not be able to see that mountain because it'll be obscured by all the trapped in smog and fog from those high inversions. It generally takes a strong storm to come in and just blow all that junk out of the valley. So just know you're going to deal with that poor air quality in the wintertime. I would say our main inversion period is generally from January into March. This year we've already had an inversion in December. We're in January now. We haven't had an inversion so far this year, but I'm sure one's coming. Now, poor air quality in the summer. This also is more going to be, what I'm talking about is the wildfire season. So in Utah, we deal with wildfires. Generally, we have some big wildfire here in the state that can fill the valley full of smoke. In fact, a couple of years ago, this mountain behind me, called Lake Mountain, I don't know if you can see that through the glare of the sun, but it caught on fire, so it filled this whole valley with smoke. A couple of years before that, the whole Nebo Loop area was on fire, and it filled this entire valley with smoke for probably 2 weeks or more. So just know you're going to deal with some smoke from the wildfire season, which generally runs again from, I'd say, late September into September. By the time you get into October, we get some fall weather, cooler weather, rains and snows that really tamper down the wildfire threat. Now, this last year, we didn't really have much of a fire season here in Utah, but the surrounding states did. So like Washington, Idaho, California, Oregon had some wildfires, and the smoke from those states blew into our valley. So we had a few weeks, maybe a week or two, where we dealt with quite a bit of smoke here in the valley from fires outside of the state. So just know that you can deal with some poor air quality both in the winter and in the summer here in Lehi. Okay, so I promised you a bonus pro for Lehi. That has got to be all the community parks that Lehi has. It has some absolutely beautiful community parks. They've got the Olympic Park, Dry Creek Trail Park. You've also got Thanksgiving Point, which technically isn't a park, but it's a great place to go hang out with some shopping, dining. Beautiful tulip festival they have in the spring. They also have fall activities there, so that just makes it a nice bonus, a great community feeling in Lehi because of the beautiful parks. You've also got really nice parks at the nearby communities of Eagle Mountain and Saratoga Springs. You've got the beautiful Corey Riser Memorial Park out in Eagle Mountain. That's really not that far away from Lehi if you want to go visit that. So that's my bonus pro. Great open spaces, a lot of parks, community events like that in Lehi to enjoy. So if you're considering moving to Lehi, I hope this breakdown of the pros and cons has helped you. And remember, the bonus pro of the great park systems here in Lehi just might make Lehi the perfect place for you. Hey, if you'd like to see any properties in Lehi or just know more about the Utah market, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you're thinking of moving in 9 days, 90 days, or even 9 years, I'd love to help you. Remember, every day people just like you reach out to me, and I absolutely love it. And in fact, I respond to every message that's sent to me personally. I'll make sure to put my contact information in the description down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap on that notification bell so you can stay current every time I drop another video about living in Utah. Hey, and if you found this video helpful, you might also enjoy my reasons to move to Lehi. You can watch that video by clicking here. Or if you want to know more about some of the other areas around Lehi, you can go watch my pros and cons video about Provo, and you can watch that by clicking on somewhere up here. And hey, I'll also put a link in the description down below for my free relocation guide to Utah. Now with that, we will catch you on the next video.